All right, let's go back to lists. There is something that I have to go over again. And where is it? Okay, there. So let's go ahead and create a list. Well, I'm going to need some data frames and matrices. So let's see. So we start with the matrix. Okay. So we create a matrix, say, of data going from, say, 1 to 6, and 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay. And then let's copy that matrix into a data frame, right? M1. So we will have these two data structures, a matrix, okay, and a data frame. So let's go ahead and set that up. We'll run it. Okay, so we have that. Now we will create another code chunk, and now we're going to create a list. Okay, remember, list can be, the elements of the list can be of any data type. Okay, you can mix and match, say, like this. A list can have another list inside it, right? Okay, let's like that. So mixed data types, and then say we have a vector inside it, a matrix inside it, and a data frame inside. Okay. So that's the thing about list. It can have the elements need not be of the same type. It can be of any type. It can be any data structure as well. A list can have another list inside it. You can have vector. It can have matrix. It can, anything that you want. You can put it there. Okay. Now, what's important here is for us to be able to access and take information out of a list, because much of our data analysis that we're going to do, the results will be stored in a list. So we should be able to pull those results out. So it is important for us to know how to get it. Okay, so let's run that. So you see the list has all of these different items. Okay, so there are several ways in which you can access a list. Okay, so I'm going to, it's there in the okay, so the PDF file, but I'm going to copy paste some information here. Okay, so this is the part that I added from last time. Okay, so it's there in the PDF file. Okay, so R provides two different methods for accessing elements of a list or a data frame. So you can specify the element index, okay, like the first item, the second item, the third item, and so on, with just single square bracket. You can do it that way, or you can use double square brackets. Okay. So there is a difference between these two, obviously. Okay. So a single square bracket, okay, will give you back objects that are list objects. So it doesn't matter what the element is inside it. If you use single square bracket, what comes out of it is going to be a list. Whereas if you use double square bracket, what you get back would be the same type as what is inside the list. Okay. So here in this list L1, the first one is a number, the second one is just a character, the third one is a list. Third one is a list of 3 items, right? And then the fourth item is a vector of 2 items. Now, if you use the single bracket for this vector, what you will get back is a list. Okay, I'll show you. So now, if you say L1, okay, and this was like 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth item, okay, if I do 4, so what you get is a list. Now, how do we know that's a list? We can say is list okay. Then it's going to say true, it is a list. Even though inside L1, that element is a vector. But what comes out is a list. Okay. So when you have a list, then it's just one item there, and you can't drill down into it and extract individual elements inside that vector. So you really need to get back. Okay, when you access something, you want the original data structure to come to you, okay, and not as a list. And therefore, what you need to do is use double brackets, double square bracket. Okay. Now, if you use double square bracket, you see, okay, let's do both. Then you can see the difference in the way it is displayed. So here, this is how lists will be displayed. Okay, that's the first one. And the second one is a vector. Okay, you can see how it is displayed. Right? So if I do is list, right, L1, and if I put double, when I use single bracket, it said, yeah, it is true, it is a list, right? Now, if I do the same thing with double bracket, it's going to say it's false, it's not a list. Okay. Now, what is it? Okay, so if you do a vector, okay, then it's going to say it's true. Okay. Now, why is that important? Because if you want to access an item that is inside the vector, then you have to bring it back as a vector and then access it. So, for example, if you want the second item in this vector, right, you want that one. So, if you do L1 4, okay, that's going to bring it back as a list, and then if you say I want 2, you're going to get an error. Well, it says null. Doesn't tell you error, it says null. There is nothing there. But we know there is something there. That's because that part brings it back as a list. Now, if you use double square brackets, that's going to come back as a vector, So now you can access individual elements inside that vector. So this will correctly give you the second element of that vector. Okay. So that is the significance of the double bracket and single bracket. Let's do one more. Say L1 5. Okay, so that's the fourth element. The fifth element is M1, the matrix, right? Now, if I use single bracket, it's going to be a list. Okay, and I can access individual elements inside it. So I have to go like that, and then say that. So this is the matrix. The second row, third element is 6. Okay, so here is the matrix. Well, matrix had 1 through 6, 2, 3. So this is the last element, which is 6. Okay. So you need to understand the difference between using single square bracket to access something in a list and using double square brackets. If you use single square bracket, you will get a list back and then that's it. Okay, and that's not useful for us. So we need to use double square brackets, and then you can access inside that data structure elements in it.